Welcome back to the cabin. It's the 8th, I believe, of November. I drove up today for the week, see if I can get some work done at the cabin and maybe a little bit of R&R while I'm here. As you can see, the trees here, all the color, all the leaves are gone since my last video. So probably rake some leaves as well while I'm up here this week. And I need to get out the brush cutter attachment and cut back all these vines below the stone wall here, and cut down some of those scrub pines. They just grow everywhere. Here's a view of the front here with the sun behind the cabin. Yeah, that black there is from water dripping or splashing. And next spring I'll wash that off, and then I have to put another coat of stain on the front of the cabin. I put some on the back last trip, preserve the wood. And one of these days, it's low priority, I have to get another piece of shiplap up underneath the soffit where that green underlayment is. But that's low priority. Over there's my wood pile. I don't stay up here in the winter, so I don't need a lot of wood. Just to get me through the fall nights and the spring nights when I come up to open up. And this trip I'll be closing the cabin up too. I gotta drain all the water. That black coated tank up in the woods there, that's full of water, so I got to drain that. The white tank's empty. Next year I'll fill both of them up, and maybe cut up some more of that tree. And like I said, I gotta rake leaves here, especially down there. That's my septic field. And I have a little trench I dug uphill of it to route the water around it, so we can get the leaves out of that too. One thing hopefully you can see through the video here is when the leaves fall off the trees, I can see over to another hill there across the valley. I don't know what it's called. Actually, there's a couple hills there. So when I look out the kitchen window, I can see those, which is kind of nice. Because otherwise it's bleak with all the leaves gone from the trees. All right, let's get the car unloaded and get to work. This is what the stain looks like when a second coat is put on. I did this last trip, except for on the top right, I ran out of time. And I don't know if I'll do anything this week there, because the temperature's in the 50s. I don't know if it's warm enough to stain. I may have mentioned it before, but I threw some grass seed down on top of the wood chips last fall. And the grass grew and it survived. So I think I'm going to do that on the rest of this hillside too. I got to put down some lime, which I've got a bag of. Try and reduce the moss up here. But yeah, nice if I can get some grass growing up here instead of the weeds. I brought up another piece of roofing sheet metal that was left over from the cellar, cleaned it up and put it temporarily behind the wood stove there and the stove pipe. That's the one on the right. The one on the left has been there for a while. This one behind the stove is too wide. I mean, I don't want it that wide. It only needs to be the width of the stove, and it's about double that. So eventually I will cut that to a narrower width, and then the tongue and groove goes behind that. So when I put the tongue and groove up, I'll move that sheet metal there over to the left against that wall. This stuff works really good. Put my hand on the sheet metal, and it's hot, and I put my hand behind it against the wall, and the wall's cool. So and that's without even setting this up properly. I have it set up on a block on the floor to let some air behind it, but eventually I'll mount it to the wall with standoffs, both that one and this one, to leave a 1 or 2 inch dead space behind it, and then I'll get natural convection to cool it down even better. And there's my 4 pieces of tongue and groove pine that I finished polyurethaning. Brought them up, and we'll cut those to length to fit in here and work our way up the wall here. This is what the cabin looks like during construction. So, cutting some tongue and groove to go in the corner behind the stove. And here's what I get rigged up here. I get one piece that's sitting on top of the wood stove. Luckily, I don't need it tonight, it's warm. With a couple of cushions and a metal box to get it to the right height. And I get my 2 sawhorses. And so that's to support this end of the board without having to continually change the width of the sawhorses. And then this end, the piece I cut off is going to fall onto the back of that chair and the top rung of that ladder, step ladder. That's how I roll up here, cutting wood. I have to take off this piece of sheetrock first that I use to protect the insulation from the heat from the stove. Luckily, there's enough width behind the wood stove. I think it's 18 inches to the wall that I can get the step ladder in. That wall came out nice. Everything's level. Although 2/3 of that is going to get covered by sheet metal to protect it from the stovepipe. But yeah, we're getting there. So I picked up this shotgun adapter. Goes from 12 gauge to 22 long rifle. And it's a solid piece of stainless steel. The inside of it is rifled to add a twist to the bullet, and there's basically a hole drilled through it where you slip your 22 into, and then you insert the whole thing into your double barrel. Because the hole is offset and this is a rim fire, the firing pin is going to hit the edge of the rim and that'll fire it off. So that's why it's off center. So I'm going to take this outside, put a target up, and see how it works. Alright, so my target is that piece of white paper out there, and it's 50 feet away. So let's put the first one in here. See how this works. Yep, fired. See how hard it is to get out. Oh. Came right out. Try another. We'll try 3. So leave the gun there and we'll go and see if I hit anything. Alright, so it looks like I hit 1 out of the 3. Yeah, 1 out of the 3. I'm a lousy shot too, so. But it works. It works. This is going to be some fun. And something to carry with me if I just want to do some plinking with my shotgun. I don't know if this shows up in the video, but you can see the dent by the firing pin in the rim of the 22. I don't know if that's out of focus or not. That's pretty cool. The other interesting thing is this is all bright stainless steel, and after I'm done shooting I take it out and there's the powder burn on the piece that was inside the chamber. All right. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 shots. This is a 22 from the other day, and that's a 22 from the other day. So I'm shooting high, looks like, most of the time. Got to work on that. Well, we have an incident here. I opened the drain to the tank last night and forgot to crack the vent. And the tank, top of the tank collapsed and some of the sides moved in. So when I found it today, I opened the vent and there was still vacuum in there. So I think the tank is still intact. Just not going to hold quite as much as it used to. But tip for today, when you drain a vessel, make sure it's properly vented, or this will happen to you. This is my process for draining the tanks at the end of the season. The red pump there is attached to a 12-volt line and to a garden hose. And then I put the pump down inside the tank like so, and then connect up the pump. And sometimes I have to prime the hose here, other times I don't, because it's got to pump up about 8 feet. So we'll see how that works out. Well, that worked fairly easily, better than in the past. Got a nice flow of water there. What I did is I got smart this year. I put the end of the hose in the bucket, ran up here, turned on the pump, and then ran down cellar again, and had a couple inches of water in the bucket, and I left the hose in there and brought the bucket and the hose up together, and it kept its prime, and it's pumping good. I'm down, I think, to about 25 or 30 gallons, maybe 50 gallons, I'm not sure. But I ran most of the water out just through the plumbing, normal daily usage. So this is what it looks like when we drain out the rest of the water in the tanks. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 gallons that I couldn't pump out. So I just break the hose there before the pump and let it drain, and there's a strainer before the pump, and I have to remember to take that strainer out, because otherwise it's full of water, it could freeze. So I just drained the lines in the cellar, and one thing I have to remember to do is to take the nozzle off the end of the kitchen sink, because there's water in there, and one year that froze on me. The other thing is I got to take this spray head off that unscrews, because one year I didn't take this off. There's water in it, as you can see, and the spray head cracked in the pot metal here. So alright, so we should be good with that. Next off is to add antifreeze to the toilet and to the sink drain. Alright, winterizing the toilet. Got my antifreeze here. Sorry about the lighting. Pour some of this in here. And then I'll pour some in the bowl. And I'll also pour some down the drain for the trap that's there. Keep the water in the trap from freezing. That's probably enough. Well, better too much than too little for antifreeze. And that does it for preparing the place for the winter. Draining the water and putting in antifreeze. Well, I got the car loaded up for the trip home. I got my trailer bring back with me, and that's going to do it for this trip. So we got the place closed up for the winter. I don't know if I'll be back or not. If I am, I'll just camp out. I got the wood stove to keep me warm, and got electricity too. So we got some stuff done this week. We got some of the brush cut back. Got the grass or moss raked. Got some lime down. Did a little shooting. Got the rest of the pine up on the back wall there behind the stove. So I'm going to call it a success. Alright, so if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel so I can get more members. And everybody have a happy Thanksgiving out there. Bye for now.